Greetings, Patrick here. That's right. Patrick here from Eight Questions with Have Cheeto Will View, and we are here for show number two. That's right. We are back with the nightcap of a doubleheader. Thank you to those who showed up for our interview with the very lovely and very sassy Tiffany Ellen Robinson. Wow, she was really cool. A lot of fun with Tiffany Ellen, delightful young lady, and enjoy talking to her very much. And giving us an eye what it's like to be a working actress in the UK at the moment. For tonight, though, we are welcoming one of our own to the stage. Kenny Sparks will be here shortly, and his channel has just suddenly just blown the hell up. I'm looking at his channel. He's at 1,000 people, and now he's at 1,600, and he's rocketing. His review of a film, uh, his review of the film, The American Society of Magical Negroes, uh, went viral. I mean, majorly viral. I mean, like seriously, like everybody's reading it. It has garnered over 38,000 views as we speak. 38,000. And those are not glitches, kids. Those are not glitches. Those people came by to read that review, watch that review. He's got over 1,500 likes on it. It's amazing. That's what can happen with the right review at the right time in the right chord. And Kenny managed to do that all in one shot, and has a massive, massive viral hit for his channel, which will push it forward. Now that kind of action right there will push it forward, and get it out there in the YouTube verse much better than not. Um, so congratulations to him for that, uh, for sure. All right. So we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things, movie wise, critic wise. We're going to be talking about his channel and the growth of it. It's like, is he ready for it? Because I don't think it's going to stop. I think he's already well past 1,600. He is on his way to 2,000, and I think he'll get there much sooner than later. Hey, Anthony, how are you, buddy? All right. Yankees are winning 4-2. Glad to see that. After being shut out by the A's yesterday, that was terrible. So we had an interview with Anthony yesterday. That was really well received. Thank you again for everybody for showing up for that. We are doing well with that interview, Anthony. A lot of people have come out to watch your interview. So that's really neat. I really do appreciate that very much. And I do want to say hi to Pap, because he was here early and dropped a comment. So I definitely give a shout out to our boy Pap Master. That's right. The new library video is now up and running. I did that as soon as we got done talking to Tiffany Ellen. I went ahead and did my library video, so it is up and running. So you can see how we did at the library today. I thought we did pretty damn good. I was very happy with it. A very rare treat indeed had crossed my pathway at the library. So that I'm stoked about that. All right. As we talk, we're gonna go ahead and tell you what's coming up on the channel. Tomorrow night we'll see Ant Ant from Ant Review Things, the Friendly Men. He will be here with me co-hosting as we welcome in the band Sex Dream, and featuring vocalist Maria Surfing Bird, and that will be on the 24th tomorrow. And then Thursday, the 25th, we'll see Spooky Kisses from the Spooky Kisses Haunt Show. Will be here, and we'll be talking all things haunt related. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Uh, she was very popular when she was here last time, and now she has her show up and running. And has completed 2 seasons, 2 seasons of Spooky Kisses Haunts. Both of them right now are on Tubi. The third season, when it drops, it will be on Amazon Prime. And I know they're in pre-production for that. I know they're in pre-production for that. So we're going to be talking to her. We're going to be talking to her on Thursday. Um, Sunday night on my channel here. We're going to be here at 8 o'clock on Sunday, as Mary Wilson will be hosting that show. I mean, I'm hosting it, but it's her show, and she picked the movie for the ISC Midnights to cover, and that will be Rust Creek, and that will be featuring actually one of the people that we've had on the show a couple of times, and Daniel L. Hill. So that'll be very, very cool. Uh, um, and is it Daniel R. Maybe it's Daniel R. Hill. Daniel R. Hill. Yeah, and he won't be here, but he has been on the show, and we talked lightly about Rust Creek. But now now we're gonna talk about the movie on the 28th, and then on the 30th. Tuesday, the 30th, we will be welcoming in the full crew of the Friendly Men. The Friendly Men will be here full crew wise on Tuesday, the 30th. We will have more stuff for on the calendar, hopefully by the end of the week. So, yep. Hey, Katie, how are you? There's popping the popcorn, Katie, one of the co-hosts of the Wonderful World of Hallmark. That's featuring myself and Katie and Lady Valerie and our most unlikely member, Eric from Hey Internet. It's Eric here. How did you go from seven deadly venoms to the Wonderful World of Hallmark? I don't know, but I'm glad it happened. Uh, uh, Eric had a really good time. We had a really good time talking about the Lost Valentine on the show, and something that doesn't really get talked a whole lot here in the horror community, right? But we did have ties to horror films in these Hallmark movies, and we will have that again on the next month. Next month we will be covering Lovelocks, featuring Jerry O'Connell, Rebecca Romaine, and Bruce Davison. Now, if you guys can't put some horror pedigree to those three names, maybe you are a Hallmark fan. Uh, See, Katie says that she is well and she is eating tacos. That's a good thing. Tacos and cheesecake. That's right. How's Mark doing? Hopefully, Mark's doing well. Um, We will be going on tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll be going off about 9:30ish or so or whatnot. Just to let you know that the Boneyard will be in session tonight. So head on over to Mr. Bones and check out the Boneyard about 10 o'clock or so, or maybe a little later than that. He will be holding court and with him and Echo and hopefully the Ice Lord. Um, it was really sunny. It's really funny too. Is like I told Don Zombie about when was he going to come back with his late night insomniac theater, and then he pulled one out of his hat yesterday, and I went to bed. I was up late last night. I would have been up. I probably would have watched it with him, as he watched Watchmen, uh, which is a fantastic movie. It is actually my favorite superhero movie, uh, for sure. That movie is absolutely just a banger from top to start. Great movie. All right. What else is happening today? Well, um, yeah. What, like I said, I went to the library, and I'll tell you this. This is sort of weird. We were all talking about this. So we're all sitting there and we're all sitting in a row, and we're waiting for the doors to open. And one of the young ladies who helps run the library, the bookstore in the library, she comes out and she says hello to us all. And I asked her, and she goes, before I could ask her, she actually volunteered this. She says, there's a lot of movies there today, and you'll have, more next week. And as she walked away, we started looking at each other and going like, okay, more, you're putting out movies today, but there's more next week. So it's like, why aren't they out now? Like what we gathered was that they didn't have enough volunteers and they didn't start early enough to finish them. So they only got part of the donations in on top of the book. Uh, on top of the book donations. Hey Joe, how are you, sir? Greetings, greetings. Glad you're here. Enjoyed the Indie Escape Network show last night. Absolutely a great show, talking about James Bond. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. A really good discussion too. Really enjoyed it. Got to contribute a little bit in the chat. Um, and it sort of, I got to tell you, it sort of surprised me, Joe, when I found myself typing up, and when I found myself typing that Roger Moore is now considered, I think, the bottom of the rung when it comes down to James Bond. I mean, for decades, it was always George Lazenby that was the bottom. Everybody's talking about how he was not a good Bond. But as the years have gone by, um, everybody has noticed, has watched From Russia to Love, and has noticed that George Lazenby actually was quite good as James Bond, quite good. And Roger Moore's efforts, except for some spotty, there's some good parts with it, but overall, Roger Moore is now, I think, a lot of people consider the least of the James Bonds. I probably could put George Lazenby right above him, solely for the fact that he only did one movie, but his one movie was pretty damn good, really good. And then we were talking about Timothy Dalton, and Timothy Dalton played James Bond, and only had two movies, but I think he fundamentally changed the franchise with his portrayal as James Bond, because his Bond was absolutely ruthless, no humor, just a man of action. And woe if you got if woe to you if you're in his crosshairs. I think he set up Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig very nicely, because those two gentlemen play Bond really well and quite deadly. I mean, Pierce Brosnan has a few, a few quips, but overall, his James Bond is a powerhouse. Um, so that was happening on the Indie Escape Network last night, and that was a lot of fun. We're talking about who could take over James Bond. Now, here's my theory about James Bond. Everybody thinks that James Bond is just an individual. James Bond is not. I don't think he is an individual. I think he could be anybody, and he just assumes the mantle of the 007. I mean, his name could be Roger Jones, but when he comes into the Secret Service, he becomes James Bond. Uh, uh, and I think if that's, and because it has stated that the double O's, they are ranked according to their service. Um, so you had James Bond as 007, and we see other double O's. We actually see some double O's killed in the act in the line of duty. And of course, Sean Bean, he was 006 in Goldeneye, and of course he betrayed his country, and he took a long fall from a short porch. But it's gonna be. I think this is the reason why. This is the reason why you could go ahead and get Idris Elbas to play Bond. It's like, well, wait a minute, isn't James Bond white? No, James Bond could be anybody. James Bond is not the real name. It's just a name for in the Secret Service. Anybody could be a woman could be James Bond. Why not? It's not the individual. It's sort of like a mantle, sort of like a cape, so to speak. Uh, so I think seeing who's going to be the next Bond is going to be really, really interesting. I like Harry Cavill, but I also like your Elvis the Dearest too. I just hope that Dearest gets a shot at it. I mean, a legitimate shot. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. So somebody asked us, and somebody asked like boring movies. That's a good question to ask too. I never really thought about that in terms of movie. And we'll talk about this one, Kenny. Oh man, Adiras, Adiras will be the man. Man, anybody who doubts that, they need to go watch. They need to go watch Adiras when he plays Stacker Pentecost in Pacific Rim. Holy shit, that guy. All right, Ranger. Number one, don't ever touch me. Number two, don't ever touch me. I just Dearest is the man. He's sensational. Really, really enjoy watching him. He's one of my favorite actors to watch. I think he'd be a freaking awesome Bond. I really do. Um, but I sort of like to see Harry Cavill get it. Henry Cavill get it too, only for the fact that he got screwed over so hard by Warner Brothers. I mean, he really got screwed over in the regards of playing Superman and how they treated him. I really feel bad for him, and I know that he's done The Witcher and he's got a little bit of comeback to him, and he's still a very popular actor. But man, he deserved a lot better than what he got from Warner Brothers and James Gunn when it came down to Superman. He popped up there at the end of Black Adam to help move the Black Adam movie up a little bit, and which would have been sensational. It was, and but then they turned around and just took it all away, and it's just like, wow. First they told him that, hey, you are going to be Superman. So he says, I am Superman. He comes and does that part, and then as soon as he does, and it's like, oh yeah, well, I don't want you as my Superman anymore. That really sort of like, but James Gunn, right? I mean, seriously, yeah. All right. I'm sure Kenny is running a couple minutes late, but he will be here shortly. Ah, all right. What about you guys in the chat? Who would you like to see as James Bond? That's a good question. I'm going to be asking that to Kenny too, because I really think it's time to see. I think it's time to see James Bond through. Uh, yeah, that was a real dick move, no doubt about that, Larry. You know what? It really was. And the way they handle that, James Gunn has handled the whole thing. It's just, it's just I don't know what happened to him. I really don't know what happened to him. He just has lost his way. Um, he really has. I think he feels a little bit strong because of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But in all honesty, though, those Guardian movies are not good. They're terrible. They're terrible. They miss with continuity like nobody's missed. They're the worst Marvel movies in terms of characters not living up to who they were in the comics. The worst. Hey Steven, how are you? How are you? That's why you always hear me. Well, I will always tell you that if people ask me about the Guardians, I just think that was just a car crash. Um, and I know they did really well at the box office, but you know what? So did Halloween Ends, but no one really talks about that with a lot of fondness. Um, I'm doing well, doing well. I'm sorry you missed the show with Tiffany Ellen, but by all means, go ahead and check that out, Stephen. I think it was a really fun interview with Tiffany Ellen. Yeah, they were. I would love to see a female Bond too. I think why not? It would be very exciting. I'm not sure who they were going to pick though. I don't know if the young lady from the last Roger Daniel Craig movie or not. Um, but why not? I mean, she could. Hell, I mean, hell, Charlize Theron pretty much did it. Pretty much did James Bond pretty much in Atomic Blonde, right? I mean, so it's like anybody sitting there going like, I don't know if a woman could play James Bond. Well, go watch Atomic Blonde. Hell, go. You know who I really would like to see play James Bond if you're going to bring a woman into it? Man, I put Olga Korlenko in it, but she couldn't open. That's the problem with Olga Korlenko is I don't think that she could open the movie. But I love her. She's a badass. Uh, ah, so you're heading over to Twitch, huh? Um, Tom Hardy. Yep, that's another one. As soon as he gets out of the Venom movies, I think he's got one more Venom movie that he's committed to, and I think that'll be it for him. But yeah, my first choice would be Ideris. It really would. There's the Cillian Murphy as well, but this is gonna sound sort of funny, but I think Cillian Murphy is a little bit too pretty to play James Bond. I mean, Cillian Murphy is a very good actor, and if you and he does have that he does have some menace into him. I mean, I've seen him in Peaky Blinders, and yeah, he's pretty strong in that. But I wouldn't know if I wouldn't say if it, I wouldn't necessarily say it was James Bond strong. Okay, where are you, Kenny? I am looking to see where Kenny's at. Okay, he's coming. He's setting himself up. Okay. Okay, just let him know that. Yep. Let's see. So Kenny will be up here in a second. So we're in good hands. Um, yeah, Naomi Harris was really good. Thandie Newton would have been interesting. Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, I don't think Kate could do that now though, because Kate Beckinsale's got a really bad back. She's had severe back problems for years now. I see some of the pictures that she posts on Instagram, but it's no she has commented more than once about her back being being hurt. I don't know how she hurt it or anything, but I don't think she could do the physicality of the role anymore. Um, but I personally, like I said, I mean, I would yeah, she's good too, Steven. Emmanuel Vauger, she's good too. But I don't think that she could open a movie. I don't think you could open up a James Bond with her. I mean, that's the problem. That's the thing with Olga. I don't think you could open up a movie with her over the title. Uh, I don't think anybody people like ourselves, we know who Olga Kurlenko is because because we're movie nuts. But the general public, I just don't think they would know who she is. Uh-huh. And there's Dell, the main man walking through the door. Home a movie swap. That's right. And I will be making that trip to heading over to Dell's channel on May 8th for movie swap. And let me tell you, I gave Dell a list of movies that he's gonna love. He's gonna love. He's probably gonna want to do 2 or 3 movies from the list I sent him. And I'm personally curious to see if he noticed what I did to him. I did something really fun for Dell, and I wonder if he caught on by yet on what I did to him. Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, the only thing about that is that basically she'd be doing a lot of the same stuff that Black Widow did. But I tell you what, the movies that she's coming out with now, the Apollo, the space movie, the previews for her for that movie, man, she looks really, really pretty in that movie. She looks gorgeous. I haven't seen her looking that pretty in a long time. Um, yeah, I don't. Uh, I know. I'm sure you're probably going like this will be the first time on Movie Swap that we've had 3 movies. I'm going to be talking about 3 movies because Patrick sent me such a great list. I had to do 3. Uh, could happen. I don't know. But the doorbell has rang. Doorbell has rang. So it's time for us to get our guest. So please help me welcome our friend, your friend, everybody's friend, Kenny Sparks. And here we go.
Hey, what's up, family?
All right, what's going on, Kenny?
How's it going?
Good, good. We were talking a bit about James Bond.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, because I was over last night. I was hanging out on a podcast, the Indie Escape Network. Great guys, by the way. If you guys
Hmm.
haven't checked them out, I highly recommend that you do. There's a consortium of really talented cinephiles such as yourself, and I enjoy watching them. And they could use our support. And last night they were talking about James Bond, and
Nice.
I was sitting here saying how it's sort of surprising. Last night we were talking about the different bonds, and it's sort of surprising when I said the bond now, like for years, the like people would say the worst James Bond was George Lazenby. But yesterday we're
Hmm.
talking about it, and I said I personally think that the one Bond has actually sort of took over the bottom rung is Roger Moore.
Okay.
I think I think he's the weakest Bond.
Yeah,
He-
I've heard that
yeah.
before. I'm not so I haven't watched the Connery Bonds, nor have I watched the Roger Moore. I started in the '90s with Pierce Brosnan, and then I went straight into Daniel Craig. So that's pretty much my natural progression into the James Bond movies.
Well, like so with Connery, Sean Connery, he started out and he was pretty, it was pretty straight on. Um, but as each movie got on with Connery, even with Connery, it sort of started with him. Uh, like a lot of times, James Bond would be more into doing a quip than he was in dealing some justice. It's like he would say a funny line or whatnot, and like, oh, he's dead tired, or shoot him with the spear, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And it was cool and everything. And then Roger Moore took over, and then it just went to the whole next level. Plus, some of the stories that they told were just for pops, just like no, just no.
Yeah.
And then he was like in his late 50s, I think, and they paired him up with this girl supposed to be it would turn out to be Holly Johnson, and she was like 21 at the time, 20 at the time, and it looked really cringy.
Yeah, that
Really.
sounds cringy.
Uh, and so I don't really think that I, as far as that goes, but the one I think that really sparked Pierce and Daniel Craig into becoming really lethal Bonds is Timothy Dalton, and he's the one that gets slept on. But his Bond, no jokes, all business and all
Really?
really. Oh yeah, he he messes with people. He yeah, he's a really good Bond. He's actually my favorite one because he played Bond straight and serious. I mean, you know, if you mess with him, it was going to be painful, really painful.
Gotcha.
All
Okay.
right,
I'll
people are
check those
rolling
out.
in here. People are rolling here. And Pat Masters here. What's going on, Pat?
That's my guy.
Uh, let's see. Is he? Dell says that he's going to go watch the. He's going to be rewatching the Bond franchise. Going in, I think Moore is the weakest. I'll see if it changes. Yeah, I don't think it will. I think it's safe to say uh, that Moore will be the weakest Bond.
Okay.
Uh, I really do.
How many movies are they up to now?
I think they're 25.
Okay. That's quite the series.
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about recasting and who would you cast for Bond, and you can make a case for Henry Cavill could do it.
Hmm.
Uh, my personal favorite would be Idris Elba. I think he would be my choice for Bond.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but if they decide to go a female,
Hmm.
uh, that would be interesting. That
Yeah.
would be interesting to see who they pick.
I would not be opposed to it.
There
Uh,
be there's some really good actresses out there right now that have the physicality to play it. Um,
Absolutely.
I like the suggestion earlier about Kate Beckinsale, but she's got a really bad back, so I think that would take her out of it.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work as well as they would want it to. I think Emily Blunt is someone who you could possibly see fulfilling that role. She's got the physicality. I just watched her in. I was on Zach and Tech's reviews channel not too long ago, and we were watching uh, Edge of Tomorrow, and I thought that she was really good in that, and it was a really physical role for her. And I think that if we're looking for someone to do something physical over a period of time, I think Emily Blunt definitely fits that mold.
Yeah, I also like Charlize Theron too.
Yep,
She's still able to bring it. Uh,
absolutely.
Atomic Blonde, the fight on the staircase. Shit,
Yes,
you could cut that and put it to any Bond movie and not skip a beat. I mean,
absolutely.
if you didn't tell anybody that wasn't a James Bond, if you said
Hmm.
this, they would go in there and say this is James Bond, and
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you're right. Um, so how was your
absolutely.
day today, my friend?
It was a rough one, but we're here. We're here. Essentially, just driving around for Uber, looking for work in different places like that. So,
Sure.
yeah, the day was good. I wish I had more time to do some editing. I saw Challengers. I want to say last night or yeah, yesterday was Monday. Monday night, and it was phenomenal. So I'm excited to review it. I've recorded my review. I just need to edit it. So I'm really looking forward to more people seeing it and to being able to talk about it.
It's funny. I actually read the synopsis for the movie, and it's funny because I went ahead and I went to the library. I go to the library once a week,
Hmm.
and I picked up a movie today, and this is the this spoiler alert. But I always go, and one of the things I'm always looking for IFC movies. So I found one. And it was called uh, Angels of Sex,
Oh,
and
okay.
it too has a triangle,
Ah,
and it actually sounds very much like Challengers.
yeah.
Sounds very much like it. The girl and the boy, the boy meets boy, then they meet the girl, who's the girlfriend of this guy who he rescues. They all bond together, but it looks like maybe the guys are liking each other more than the guy likes the girl. It's
Mm,
Spanish movie. It looks very interesting. And so when I read that, I was looking at that, reading the back of it, and we're like, well, where have I seen this before? I just saw this. Oh, that's right, Challengers. That's right. I went,
yeah.
oh, I want
Challenges is a little bit different, but just slightly. There's definitely that triangle there. There's definitely some competition, if you will,
mhm.
for the lead actress's hand. If we're going old school, talking about taking someone's hand, and all that good stuff. And um, I don't want to give it away. I definitely don't want to spoil or anything like that, but they do a really good job of balancing those relationships as
Right.
well as balancing the time period in which they tell each part of the relationship because it covers quite a few years of their lives. So they did a really good job with that.
I think it's really interesting. It is interesting that that some of the relationship stories are like that are coming out. Before it was always, always two girls and a guy. Two
Hmm.
girls. And now it's gone to the point where it's two guys and a girl, and it's like,
Yeah.
most people that would cause them to run away from, because it's like two guys, and it's this, men being men, we sort of look at it and go like, oh, that's sort of, that's, but they forget the golden rule. It's not gay in a three-way, as long as there's a as
Yeah,
long as
I've
as
heard
long as
that.
there's a hockey in the middle, right?
Mhm. Yep, that is the goal.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Shout out to Andy Samberg, right? And But yeah, but I mean, I think our society now has sort of accepted that there
Hmm.
could be a triangle that way with two guys and a girl. I mean, generally, like I said, generally speaking, has always been two girls and a guy. But to me, I've always thought that that's more like a male fantasy type role. Well, who's to say that's what the woman really wants? Maybe the woman wants those two guys, two fellas out there fighting for her.
Yeah,
Um, so it's gonna be, so Challengers does look to be pretty cool.
it is.
Now who put that out? Is that another A24 film or
I think that's MGM. The last I checked.
oh wow, okay.
Hmm.
So hopefully people will have to you'll have to go out there and find it to watch it because MGM is not what I call a good
Oh,
studio.
it's definitely MGM because I remember the line at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, MGM does not really do a good job as far as promoting their quality entries
Yeah,
in movies.
it feels
Oh
like this is the first MGM movie I've seen in a long time. Actually, now that I
yeah.
think
They've been them and it's funny we're talking James Bond, but for years, James Bond came out underneath United Artists, and that was really all that United Artists ever had. I
about
mean, every movie they put out that wasn't James Bond would just absolutely get destroyed in the box office. They just didn't know how to promote themselves.
hmm.
Movies were okay. Movies a good movie, but it seemed like nobody really wanted to go and support a UA movie. It
Right.
just they just struggle. In fact, the United Artists end up merging with MGM for a while.
I remember United Artists just being a lot of action movies for the most part. A lot of action movies from
So,
them.
yeah, they were sort of like the middle class
Hmm.
canon films.
Yeah, it was MGM, New Line Cinema, Orion. They all kind of occupied that
Orion
same space.
Orion was popping there for a while.
Yeah.
That was actually the first studio that I actually like understood what a studio does when the releases go. Like when
Hmm.
I saw Orion, I was like, okay, I know when I see that the movie that's going to come here is going to be really good.
Right.
So I started looking for that. They were the first studio that happened for me. Before it was just like whatever, when the movie come on, okay, great. I didn't know what Warner Brothers meant or Sony or any. I didn't know that until Orion. And
Yeah.
then I know, and then I noticed New Line was tied up to Warner Brothers and what have you, so on and so on. I know MGM has been suffering this for years as well, and I
Hmm.
know that. Let me bounce over to the chat real quick. Oh, just in time to see our good friend Phil. Phil's creepy vids.
They fell.
Um, See, Dell even says the same thing. He says, for a while, see Orion at the beginning of the movie meant a good time. It did. It meant a quality film with a
Orion
really,
was RoboCop, right?
uh,
Am I remembering that correctly?
might been the one I remember from it was Promises in the Dark.
Okay.
That's what that's a movie that's near and dear to my heart, and
Hmm.
that came out on Orion, and after that, I was hooked. I knew who they met.
Gotcha.
Let's see. How are you doing, Phil? Hopefully you're doing well. Did you go see the latest Ghostbusters? I gotta ask Phil about Ghostbusters because he has like 1,000 of the Stay Puft Man in his collection.
Really? That's
Yes.
really cool.
Oh man, if you ever like working, like if you're doing editing and you just need something in the background to help keep you company,
Hmm.
highly recommend you go to Phil's channel. If you haven't sub to it. Go to Phil's channel and then go down and check out some of his videos. Absolutely amazing. His
Awesome.
collection,
Will do.
his collection is sick.
Mm.
Let's see. Let me catch up with everybody else. Everybody saying hi to everybody else. Dell says, yeah, there are 25 official Bond movies. He says there's 25. There's actually 26
Right.
Bond movies, but the one by Sean Connery, Never Say Never, is considered non-canon.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, I don't know why. I think that might be a technicality, but I tell you one thing, Sean Connery was a badass in that movie. Uh, yeah, he was pretty lethal. Phil says he did see Ghostbusters, and He thought it was okay. Yeah, see, you gotta
Yeah,
really you gotta deliver a good movie to impress Phil.
yeah. And with Ghostbusters, I enjoyed Afterlife. Of course, I actually enjoyed Ghostbusters 2 like quite a bit. I enjoyed the original. I actually enjoyed the 2016 version as well, and Afterlife. The only one I feel like I really didn't enjoy was this last one.
Man, that's funny you say that because the one I did not like at all. It really, because I just, oh, it's so obvious that he didn't really want to be there. Was
Oh yeah,
Ghostbusters 2. Man, and how could anybody not look at the Ghostbusters 2 and not see that Bill Murray did not want to be there?
yeah. My
Oh,
understanding is that he was a pain in the behind to work with
it
the
comes
entire
across
time.
on screen.
Yeah.
It really does. And I'm not the biggest Dan Aykroyd fan, but
Hmm.
I got to give the man props. He worked his ass off in that movie. He saved the movie. He saved the franchise, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
if he hadn't worked as hard as he did, Murray would have just destroyed it with the second one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's my least favorite Bill Murray performance. That's the worst I've ever seen Bill Murray. Just absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to give it to he's not that much better in Frozen Empire either. He's just kind of sleepwalking the entire time.
I just think he just, well, he's probably, before he went into that movie, he got his finger smacked because of his
Ouch.
behavior on set. Because
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I'm sure he wasn't, in a sour mood going into it, and he had to be forced to watch his P's and Q's,
Hmm.
especially with such a young cast. Who was going to be able to play Uncle Bill Murray? He was going to be able to do that shit,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that he was grumpy about that, and I mean, I've heard the same thing about him in that movie that he was just didn't really need to be there. It's like it was just
He really
over.
didn't. There's no reason for him to be in this movie whatsoever.
And I want to see Afterlife too.
Yeah, I
I
like
heard
that for that quite
I
a
heard
bit.
that movie had a lot of heart to it.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
And Frozen Empire, man, I just wasn't all that. I don't know. It just didn't have the same pull for me. And then
But
I heard about how it just wasn't that good. They
it's
sort of
not.
dropped the ball on it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Uh, let's see. Jeff Clark Jr., fine actor, fine director, walked into the room, says Bill Murray's finest, best movie, Groundhog Day.
I
Man,
watched that
I
for the
gotta
first
tell you,
time. I want to say 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
you saw it 3 or 4, you saw it 3 years ago.
Yep,
I gotta say that's definitely top three Bill Murray. Um, my favorite Bill Murray movie is one of his very first movies, and that's Meatballs. I love Meatballs.
I have not seen that. I have to check it out.
That
Yeah,
movie, because it has a lot of heart to it. It has a lot of heart to it. Um, let's see. Okay. Wow, everybody's talking here. Let me see. Let's see. Dale's popping off with original Casino Royale. That was a lot of fun.
mm,
And Never Say Never Again were not produced by Eon, who has done all the other Bonds, making it 27 movies. I didn't know that Casino Royale was considered to be a James Bond movie. I always thought it was considered to just be a comedy. David Niven led the cast, and
oh,
it was just supposed to be a comedy.
actually, that's what I thought. I thought the Daniel Craig Casino Royale was a remake of the original, but I haven't seen the original. But I thought it was
The
supposed to be
original one,
a remake.
it was straight comedy. I mean, it was made for laughs. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe Peter Sellers was in that as well, but I'm not sure. But I definitely know David Niven was in Casino Royale.
Really?
Thank you, Katie, for sharing Kenny out. I appreciate that. But you
Hey,
know what
okay,
I was
Bob.
really, what I was blown away at. I was talking about this before you got here.
Hmm.
That you actually got a legitimate viral hit
I
with your
do.
review on the Magical Negroes. People really resonated with a lot of people, and it came
Mhm.
over and really supported that. I have not seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
I saw the title of it. I'm going like, man. I mean, I'll be honest with you. In today's world, I was sitting there going like, man, how's that movie going to find an audience? Um, is it is it going to be one of those great movies that just gets waylaid because people aren't
Mhm.
going to do it, or was it a bad movie? And then you said that it was not a very good movie at all.
It's a terrible movie. It's one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. But also the interesting thing about the viral like hit that video is I want to say quite literally 98 to almost 99% of the people who commented, watched, or whatever did not see the movie. All of them, there's a lot of comments about people's personal political beliefs, and it's clear that they either didn't watch my review at all, they just came to like comment what they believe, and B they didn't see the movie. So it's the most interesting thing because I don't enjoy being negative about movies. I will tell you how I actually feel about a movie, but I don't want to build my channel off of like negativity at
Right.
all. There are people who do that, and God bless them, but that's just not the type of vibe I want to bring to my channel. But if the movie is, not great, then I will say that. That movie seemed to struck a chord with me. But that's movie seemed to strike a chord with a lot of different types of people who have a lot of different beliefs about a lot of different things, who just wanted to talk about their beliefs and not the movie. So in a very strange way, that movie review went viral for nothing to do with what anything I said in the in the review. It's very strange.
But you know what? You gotta take it though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta
I'll take it.
I mean, it did propel your channel. I mean, your channel is white hot right now. I mean, you're just blasting away.
That
You just
that one
crossed
video got me
1,500.
monetized.
That one got you on it.
Yeah,
And you crossed over 1,600, and you're blazing toward 2,000. I mean, yeah, I would take that.
absolutely.
I definitely would take that. Yeah,
Yeah,
who wouldn't do that?
right.
Um, Let's see. Let me. Oh, and we're still talking a little bit about Murray. Jeff was mentioning Scrooge was really good as well. Yeah, I agree with that. Scrooge is really well. I do. I also have to say Groundhog Day is my other. That's definitely top three.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is an amazing movie.
Groundhog
It really-
Groundhog. Ugh, I can't talk. Groundhog Day is fantastic. I actually
yeah.
really enjoyed it when I watched it. Yeah.
It has so much heart to it. I mean, it really is Bill Murray's character from Meatballs if he was a weatherman. If you really, you'll see a lot of the same connections. I mean, sometimes Bill Murray does a lot of the same shtick, um,
Hmm.
like he did in Stripes and whatnot. Everybody, in the improv. But but I love Bill Murray when he breaks it when he gets in touch with his human side, like in
Yeah.
Meatballs and Groundhog Day. He really is a fine actor.
Yeah, he
Razor,
is. He's actually
Razor's
really
Edge.
talented.
He did Razor's Edge, which was a sensational movie that nobody saw. It was a very good movie.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie has just walked through the door. Hello, Jamie.
Hey,
Glad you're
Jamie.
here. Glad you're here. And Steven's saying that and I gotta agree with Steven here. He did do a very good job in Garfield. That sounds funny, but I agree with that. He was very restrained. He was not over the top Bill Murray. He's funny, but he wasn't like he wasn't trying for big laughs. I agree. I thought he did a nice job with Garfield. Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
there's a new Garfield coming out in a few months, so
I'm
we'll see how
excited
that
for it.
goes.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
excited.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I actually reviewed the first two Garfields.
Okay, nice.
Here. No, this is why I never got the horror tuber of the month, right? Okay, I'll be honest with you. This is why this never happened for me. It's like, yeah, let's go see what Patrick did. Let's go see what he reviewed, man. He's got some tight movies, man. Do you see that good shit he's got? Yeah, he's
Mhm.
all about the horror. He's talking about ISC Midnight. Let's go over that. What the hell is this? Garfield? Oh, Garfield. What the hell? What's how would you describe your channel, Kenny? I mean, when you started, did you see it as becoming a horror channel, or do you see it more as just a all around channel when you first started? What was your idea behind it?
So the general idea behind the channel was to make content to help promote a podcast I was a part of. I was a part of a podcast called The Blurred Bar, and essentially there are four hosts to this podcast, and all four of us had different interests, whether it's movies, me, comic books, anime, or video games. And the idea came up that each one of us would create our own content that would be our own separate thing, but point to that podcast. And essentially, what happened was I was kind of the only person who was putting stuff out. So it kind of turned into it kind of turned into me going from just doing it for the blur bar to me doing it for myself. I actually separated from the very outset what I wanted to do with it in terms of like it being a part of that podcast. I would make my own. So I made my own channel, and so I could keep ownership of everything I created, everything I recorded, edited, and all these other things. But I would say, hey, go check out the Blur Bar. That's a podcast I'm a part of. So it was very important to me that all my hard work, I didn't have to ask anybody for it when I was, if I had ever separated from that podcast. Um, so yeah.
That's actually that actually mirrors me really well.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's exactly what happened with for me.
Yeah.
I was though I didn't have though it didn't end bad at all. It was
Yeah.
just
I still have a great relationship with all of them.
I mean I'm still I still love everybody on the show, and because I helped create it and whatnot. But I did too. I have to admit, I'm sitting here and I'm going like, man, this is a lot of my hard work here, but
Hmm.
somebody else's channel. I'm going like,
Yeah.
it's like I need to get that over on my channel. And so
Right.
that's what I did. I created this channel and with the blessing of my friends, I did that. I started doing my own content. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Initially, I was posting on their channel, the same video on their channel and my channel. I was like, this doesn't make sense. I need to pull everything over to my channel because, like I said, I'm working hard on all this stuff. And
right.
originally, I was only supposed to put out like one video a week about movies, and then I put out one video a week, and then I got really excited about it. Or not movie review. It was actually just a video. My channel was originally called "See for Yourself," and it was called that because I wanted like the type of vibe that I want for my channel is for me to tell you my opinion about movies, but also encourage you to go see it for yourself, right? I don't want you to just take my word for it and say, "Oh, that's what happened. That it's good, it's bad." Because essentially the question is, what if I say, "Hey, I don't really particularly like this movie." And you say, "Oh, Kenny didn't like it. Probably not going to like it. I'm not going to go see it." But then one day, out of the blue, you do see it. It's like, yo, that's the greatest movie I've ever seen. I don't know what Kenny was talking about. I don't want to rob you of that experience. So just go see for yourself. Make your own opinion about this movie. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. I'm not an authority on opinions of this movie. It's just
No, it it
what
it it
what I think.
surprises me. It surprises me how many people hang on just one reviewer. It's
Yeah.
like, if like I was talking with a couple of other people, back in the 70s, there was a reviewer named Rex Reed, and Rex Reed, if he came out there and liked your movie, you had a hit. If he came
Mm,
out and did your movies like, ugh, and he was very, very, very hard to please. I mean, when you got praise from Rex Reed, that was almost like stop the presses.
wow.
Uh, but most of the time, because most of the time he was like, and then the movie would suffer.
Yeah.
And then it changed a little bit when Cisco and Ebert came on. When Cisco and Ebert came on, all of a sudden then he had a competition, because they weren't always just dogging every movie like he was.
Yeah.
'Cause there's some like you said, there's some critics, that's what they do. They're sort of like rabble rousers on sports radio. They say shit that they themselves don't believe, but they
Right.
say it because it'll cause headlines.
Yeah.
But for Rex
Unfortunately,
Reed,
there's a lot of that on YouTube whether
Yeah.
it's movies or anything else. I stay away from that kind of thing because it's just not what I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, see for yourself. Like it was called that because I wanted you to go. I wanted you to hear my opinion, but also wanted you to go. Well, see it for yourself. And it actually came from that phrase. Actually came from reading Rainbow. Believe it or not, when LeVar Burton would end a book or preview a book, he said, "Well, don't take my word for it. Go read it for yourself, right?" And that's where "see for yourself" came from. It came from that. And the reason I changed the name of the channel is because it was C for like spelled out regularly, and it was YA self, and it was just very hard to search. And
Right.
um, in live streams, I would feel so bad for the people when I would comment when they would read my comments and "see for yourself" said, and "see for yourself" said. That's a mouthful. That's a lot to say. And so I just changed it to my real name and just kept it going from there.
Yeah, you know what, yeah, naming a channel is, that's an adventure all in itself.
Yep.
Um, like, first of all, my channel was gonna be called Have Cheeto Will Review, and that's what I was gonna call it. But when I started putting, my reviews up on IMDb, they said that right there, it says, "Please don't put reviews, don't put review." So I
Oh, okay.
changed it to into Have Cheeto Will View, because I will watch whatever you show me, and so it came out that way, and it's, seemed to work. Um,
I'm so glad that you told me that because I thought that this is going to sound very silly. I thought that "have cheetah will view" meant if you have a cheetah in your movie, I will watch it. That's what that's what I was like. Is that what that means? "Have cheetah will view"? Okay.
Yeah, if you have
Yeah.
a cat, you know what? That is true though. I mean, if you do have a cat, I am so there.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Ask about the 30 people that probably put up with me and Larry. Me and Larry, I'm sure they go like, oh, there's those two guys again. I'm sure because I mean, I thought I was bad sending out cat reels, but Larry's my match. I mean, we'll be sitting there swapping cat reels most of the day. Um,
Oh, I love cat reels. Absolutely love it.
oh,
Actually,
you just
pet
said the magic word.
cat reels, dog reels too. I love all kinds of pet reels.
Yeah, I sent Ben from Cadaver Club. I sent him corgis all the
Oh,
time.
corgis are the best.
Yeah,
My
all the time on
favorite.
corgis. Well, that Godzilla stuff.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
Godzilla is awesome.
I think we just I think the whole chat is absolutely roaring with laughter over this, and I don't blame them. Uh,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's go back up here. Let me catch up. Let me catch up with the chat real
Yep.
quick. Let's see. That's so fun, Steven. That's thanks. I love that the part about Garfield. It just cracks me up. Uh, see, Jamie mentioned that Murray was really good in the Royal Tenenbaums with Gene Hackman. Uh, was he in the Royal Tenenbaums? I thought he was in the Life Aquatic, but I could
And
be
he
wrong.
was in the Life Aquatic.
Okay, I thought Gene Hackman, because that's the only Criterion movie I see out in the wild all the
Mhm.
time is Royal
Yeah.
Tenenbaums. Oh Lord, if I seen it once, I seen it 10 times. See, Dal mentioned that Murray in Zombieland is his all-time favorite cameo. That was pretty funny. Uh, let's see, Bill Murray and Chris Elliott. Chris Elliott was the shit. When early Letterman, oh my God, Chris Elliott used to come out there and just he make you cry. He was so funny. The guy underneath the seats, classic. See, some people are mentioning Zombieland as they were saying hi to Pap. That's right. Pat Master in the house. Pat, Pat,
Pat
Pat.
Master. It's my guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah,
Pap
he's a
is
cool
cool.
guy.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I know Kenny was gonna. I know Kenny Sparks' channel was gonna get subscribers rapidly. That's a really cool statement to say. Pap was
I
had the
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man. Because it's really cool to see channels just absolutely blow up. I know yours is blown up. Movies and beyond. Michael, his channel has just gone insane. I think he gained 1,000 subs in a matter of
Nice.
days. Days.
Dave.
because he just got
Dang,
done doing. Yeah, he
that's
just got done
incredible.
doing his 1,000. He was like, "This is my 1,000. This is my 1,000 subs party." And I went over there to take a look at the replay, and there it is, 1990, 1900. I'm like, holy shit,
That is
like, but
incredible.
he's gonna be cracking 2,000 here if he hasn't already. Uh,
Yeah.
yep. Let's see. Delry says he remembers Rex Reed. Thank you so much, Del, because now I don't feel so freaking old. Not alone. I don't feel so old alone now. Thanks. Let's see. See, Kenny Sparks can hold down a really good sports channel, also, no doubt. Oh, you're a big sporting fan too?
I'm a big Eagles fan and I love watching the NFL, but I don't think I could hold down the sporting. I think I could talk about the Eagles passionately. I don't know if I could, cover everything else as well and as
Uh,
passionately.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Sure, sure.
Sorry about that.
No problem. All right, guys. So with Patrick taking a break, let's see how the rest of you guys. Oh, okay. I see my guy, Della Movies, seeing two thumbs up from Cisco and Ebert on a movie poster was the ultimate stamp of approval. That is true. You can actually find Cisco and Ebert reviews on YouTube. So if you want to see like what they think of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I don't know if that specific one is on there, or like Deep Blue Sea, which is a really weird Close Encounters to jump to Deep Blue Sea. You can actually like watch their reviews of movies, especially in the '90s, and it's really cool to see like what their perspective was. They didn't always agree, but they did a good job of communicating exactly. Oh, Steelers! That's my second team. Um, Steelers are my second team. Terrible tough. Have you ever been to
Oh,
it's not Three River Stadium. Have you ever been
no, not
it's not
anymore.
Heinz Field
I think they
anymore
call it
either.
what?
Acrisure?
I'll sure, Ollie Sure, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Acrisure or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because everything gets named anyway. Uh,
Hmm.
Stadium gets named anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when I heard you say Eagles, I said, oh snap, I better get that. So
Well,
how do you
if you look right behind me,
what happens when they both play? Who do you root for?
oh, the Eagles every day, all day. Yeah, absolutely. If you look behind me, the Philly special from the Super Bowl, the play is hanging right there from the Super Bowl that the Eagles won. It's
Okay.
hanging right above me. That's the
Did you
play
say
where Nick Foles
yeah,
caught the touchdown.
you said the one Super Bowl the Eagles won?
Yes, the one Super Bowl we won. All you got is get yo. That was crazy because I said if they could just win one before I pass away, I will be
Right.
extremely happy. And I'm a lot less like critical of them since they won that one. I'm like, okay, you won the one. I'm still gonna watch every week, but you guys gave me what I wanted.
I am exactly like you, except I'm saying, if they could just win number 7, I would happy be happy and go. So yeah, that's funny. Do you watch a lot of sports movies? That's a
Uh,
unique genre. That's a unique genre all in itself,
I
right?
would say, yeah, I do watch sports movies. They don't come out as much as they used to.
Oh God, oh,
But yeah, remember the Titans. Uh,
great movie.
gosh, trying to think of movies past that. Uh, every time I think, my mind goes blank. That's the ADHD.
Great movie.
Remember the Titans. I was about to say Little Rascals. That's not true at all. Little Giants.
Oh,
Well, I know that's
did you
going
ever?
back.
Did you say Facing the Giants?
I have not seen Facing the Giants. I know of it, but I have heard of it for sure.
Kendrick.
Um,
That's a great movie.
yeah,
Holy crow, that's a great movie.
yeah. I'll have to check it out. So for me, there's a lot of movies I've seen, and there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. I know my guy Zach, who's in the chat, calls himself a baby cinephile because he's just like kind of getting into the groove of watching a bunch of movies, and he's doing an amazing job on his channel reviewing movies, especially old ones, new ones, current ones. Like he does an amazing job, and he's almost at 1,000 subscribers too. So if you guys want to check out Zach Attack Reviews, definitely do that. His channel is awesome. It's amazing. He actually just finished his live stream, and I'm lucky enough to have a friend who would hop in a live stream to support us. So yeah, yeah, his channel is amazing. But yeah, I bring that up because a lot of times I feel like a baby cinephile at times because of all the movies. Like, yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check that out. Oh yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
I say that whoever comes up with this shirt and sells it on their YouTube channel will make it pay. And that is, get a T-shirt that says, "I own it," but on the back say, "But I haven't washed it yet." You know?
Oh, that. So you can't see to the right of me, but my comic book collection, or trade paperback collection, that would be on my T-shirt. Like, I own it. I have not read it yet whatsoever. I literally.
Is it easier for you to read or to watch?
I would say to watch for sure. Watching is a very passive activity for me, so it's always easier to watch. Although I do feel like a lot of times I'm more engaged when I'm reading a comic book specifically. But yeah, I definitely, yeah, I definitely feel like movies are better for me in terms of like the consumption.
And Zach is saying, "Thanks for the love." No problem, Zach. We're gonna get you on here, Zach. You gonna come pay me a visit?
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Zach is a great guest to have on.
Dal just threw out, as far as sports movies go, he just threw out The Waterboy.
Waterboy's funny as hell.
Oh
Yeah.
my! Will you be my friend? No, get away from me, man. You can do lines off The Waterboy all night long. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's some high quality H2O. Let's see. Everybody's saying they love Zach. That's awesome. And Dale says he needs that shirt. Yes. Oh man, I need that shirt so much too. Man, I thought, here I go. I'm always hyped up for the library. So there I go. I'll go down there hoping for a lot of movies. And then I'll get that, I'll get like 8 or 10 movies, and I'm like, yeah, I had a great haul. And then I'll come home and I'll watch something I've seen like 1,000 times.
Right.
let's watch Grown Ups again, Paladin. It's like, he heads for the hills. So why don't you watch something that you just got? Okay.
Yeah. That's interesting because I find myself to be in an opposite situation because there's so much content coming out. I rarely rewatch anything now. There's always something new, a new episode, a new movie. Like, I think within the past few years, there hasn't really been, other than Spider-Verse, there hasn't been a lot of movies of the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years that I've just rewatched over and over again, like when I was a kid or even a teenager. It's because it's always something coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, the way the physical media is, being dealt with, it's gonna be, you're gonna want to hold on to your physical media, and you might want to come back and repay it a visit sooner than later. I find myself doing that a lot. I find myself going back to the older movies to bring them to the forefront. Now I know I could get a lot more likes and I know a lot more views if I did, the movies that are out today.
Yeah.
But I've never really been that way. I've always been sort of like, yeah, I'm not to the extreme that some people are. Like they live in 1980. And it's like, it's okay, but it's okay, but to come out into 2024.
Yeah.
There's the best horror came out in the 80s. So I'm gonna stay there. Well, okay, we're gonna miss a lot of good movies.
That's a lot of good movies.
And so, you can sit there, you can stay there and defend that. Like, I'm just gonna watch Jason and Freddy, the first movies. That's fine, but there's a lot of quality movies being filmed right now that I know that you would enjoy very much.
Every year. Yeah. I just saw like a horror comedy. I just saw Abigail. Abigail's fantastic. I absolutely love Abigail. And I saw Immaculate too. Immaculate was great.
I really want to do that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Now I saw parts of the first Omen. But I didn't see it all because, like I was mentioning before, I drive for Uber, so I drove for like 6 hours straight and then went to the movies and thought I would survive. And I was just knocked out like 20 minutes into the movie. It had nothing to do with the movie. I was just gone. Same thing happened to me when I went to go see the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which is why there's not a review on my page,
Uh-huh.
because I went to go see the movie and the movie saw me instead.
You
And
know,
that's after driving.
I'm pretty perplexed about that. They're sort of they're sort of marketing that movie as a action comedy, and
Yeah.
it's not. It's actually based on a real combat mission of the British
Hmm.
did Operation Roast, and they were they happened in Italy during the and toward 1945. The war was almost over, but they were still fighting, and
Yeah.
Operation Roast took place. And some of the people that are in this movie, like Alan Richards' character, he's actually playing a real life soldier who I'm just it's this history. You could look it up, so I'm
Yeah.
not spoiling anything. But his character died in the line of duty. He was only 24 years old, and he
Hmm.
died. And I was just a little I was a little bit confused about the marketing of it because I'm seeing it, and it looks like it's like an Inglorious Bastards type thing, like
That's
action.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
I'm just surprised that that's how they played it because I'm like that. I mean, I can understand that if it was just a made up story,
Hmm.
or the embellishment or whatever, but it was actually a real, on a real action.
Yeah.
And people passed away during that battle.
Yeah, I will say in the post credits they did give you um they showed the picture of the real people
Mhm.
and right next to the picture of the actors, and they told you about their life story after the events of the movie and how it
Oh,
went down. So they do tell you, but they definitely played it as that Inglorious Bastards type of tone throughout the entire movie.
yeah, I just, I was talking with somebody too. I was talking to Brian from Dragon Movie Guy, and we were talking, and I was saying how, if we could interview George Lucas, what would the first thing you would say to George Lucas? My very first thing I said was the first thing I would say, how the hell did you fuck up Red Tail so bad? You know, because it's just like that's a great movie all in itself. It didn't need to have to be embellished on, or it was like it was right there.
Yeah.
All he had to, it's just like it was sort of frustrating to watch a director like George Lucas, or a producer, just drop the ball so badly.
I
Um,
had a similar experience with Taika Waititi. He directed a movie called Next Goal Wins, and it's about American Samoa's actual soccer team, and how a coach had came over, and a coach had came over essentially in the sense of like Ted Lasso and helped that nation's soccer team actually be relevant and make it to some qualifiers and some Olympics as well, I believe. And the movie was just so it was so much of Taika Waititi's humor that it took away from the actual story that was being told, and then it focused on the coach instead of focusing on the main character. I believe it's either Janae or something of that nature, and she's a trans woman who was part of that soccer team who ended up being the person who like made a lot of policy for the Olympics and different things of that nature. And the movie, like, it touched on her. She's in the movie, but the focus is on Michael Fassbender's character and not on her character whatsoever. And it's like that felt like a really big missed opportunity about what this movie could have been about. But yeah, I think like when you're doing a historical reenactment or a biopic or something of true events, I think if you're from the outset, if it's taking liberties, something like Inglorious Bastards, which is clearly taking liberties, if you know
right.
that from the outset, that's fine. But if you're trying to tell the true story, I think that you should handle it with a little bit more seriousness. Not to say that there can't be humor or anything like that. There's plenty of humor in Ray and Ali and movies like that. But you have to have a balance.
Yeah, I agree. Do you like watching? I mean, is that what some of your favorite movies that you watch? You like to watch in historical dramas?
So for me, I watch anything. Like I'll watch any and everything. There's nothing I really don't enjoy watching. Like there's some like so Little Women, right? Something that takes place in Victorian era kind of love story. That's not my bag. I would say that that's the only thing I'm like, I don't, I'm not really too interested in it. But I went to go see it, and it was great. So I don't really deny anything. So the best analogy I can give is this: I don't like country music, or I should say, I don't particularly listen to country music all the time, but if I
Right.
hear a country music song that's really good, I'm going to listen to it. I'm not going to just dismiss it because it's country, right? Like if I hear something, oh, that sounds great. Oh, that's a country song. Oh, well, I don't care if it's a country song. That sounds amazing. And that's how I feel about like Victorian era type stuff, and also other types of movies that I really don't genres, I should say, that I really don't like watch a lot. But at the same time, I will watch literally any genre of movie.
Now,
There's nothing.
has your movie habits always been that way? Have you always, when you were growing up, was that how it was when you went to the show? You watch anything?
Yeah, so essentially, so the year that changed my life was 1994, right? I was only 4 years old, so saying that it changed my life is weird. But that year, The Lion King, Forrest Gump, and Speed all came out, and they're all three of my favorite movies, like ever, like top three of my favorite movies. And then you have like Spider Verse. And if you know Lion King, Forrest Gump, and Speed, they could not be more different from one
No.
another. And I just love those types of movies. And I think that the types of movies I'm particularly drawn to are like very like I love my action movies, love my superhero movies, but very deep character dramas. Those are, I would say, my favorite movies, right?
Yeah.
So but yeah, and because of that because of how I grew up, I've enjoyed everything. Then you got your RoboCops and stuff like that, and your horror movies that used to come on directly after Saturday morning cartoons, which was an interesting choice. It would be like you would watch Pokemon and then Hellraiser would be coming on next. It was weird, but that type of stuff exposed me to all different types of films.
All right, let me get over to the chat real quick because they've been lighting it up since you and I came back. Especially when I came back. I think they started talking a lot when I came back with the terrible towel. That's awesome. Bringing out the terrible towel. Hello, Lady J Ghoul. How are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Let's see who else did I miss here. Oh, Jeff. Oh, Jeff Clark is doing the Eagles chant. Spelling the Eagles, so he must be
Let's
Eagles.
go.
Holy cow! I had no idea. Let's see, Jamie saying Steelers. No way. Bills until death. What? She lives in Pennsylvania. Oh my
That's strange. Why
God.
would you choose a team that lost a
That's
Super Bowl four
scary.
straight times and hasn't been back to one?
I know, right? I don't know. I don't know.
I
That
don't. I
right,
don't mean to bring
right.
up that pain. I'm sorry, but
I don't. I think. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm in Twin Peaks right now after reading that. Where's my pie and coffee? Let's see. Thank you, Katie, for dropping your Kenny's link. For sure. Pap saying hi to Lady J, and he's mentioning other sports movies, Varsity Blues, Unnecessary Roughness.
mm,
Um,
Friday
uh,
Night Lights. I see. I love Friday Night Lights.
uh, Katie loves Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans is just an awesome movie. But
It's great.
I could watch that any day, all day. That's an amazing movie.
When
Uh,
Disney Plus first came out, the first day it came out, the first thing I watched was Remember the Titans.
yeah, that's a great movie. I went and saw that at the theater too. I went and saw that. I was like blown away how good it was. So
Yeah,
good.
Denzel, man.
I just love the relation. I mean, I just love the relationship between the two friends. How they bonded together, and I just it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great watch.
Now they're doing the water. Now they're doing Gatorade. Gatorade. The Water Boy is definitely a football movie. It definitely is.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. Football is a sports
go,
comedy.
go Mud Dogs. Let's see. Zach saying thanks for the love. Let's see. Water Boy. Yep. Inspirational love story from Pat Master. Yep. from
Yeah,
Bronson Book. Yeah. Uh, See, Dell says he needs that shirt. About the I have it, but just haven't watched it yet. Yeah. People come. Do you do Letterbox by chance? Do you
I
keep all?
do.
How do you, is it, so? Do you keep all the movies that you own? Do you mark it down in there?
Yeah, so what I do, so I've anytime I come across a movie that I know I've seen, I'll mark it down and try to give it a closest rating as I can to what I remember, how I remember feeling about it. But I have a list for, I want to say this list is going, there's three separate lists, I should say, about 3 or 4 years strong, where every year, so for example, I have a 2024 movie list
Yeah.
where I will mark down every single new 2024 movie that came out that year that I've watched. And I have a goal of watching 100 movies from 2024 this year. I think I'm at 36. So I'm making good progress. So yeah, I do that every year. I have a 2022, 2023 list as well. I think it started for me in 2022 is when I started doing that. So yeah.
I do that too, but I put down everything that I watch. Like
Hmm.
when I do my top 10 or top 20, I
Yeah.
put it down on everything that I watched for the first time.
Okay.
So it could be a movie from the 50s. If I haven't seen it, it could be up on my here's my top 10 list of the movies that I saw this year, and there could be a movie from the 1950s in there because I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And in comparison to what I watched, it's the fifth best movie I've seen. It could be like that. It also happens sometimes where you get a movie early. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna be watching a movie here shortly called the Coffee Table.
Okay.
I can already tell you. I can already tell you that here it is in April, only April. I could tell you that the Coffee Table is gonna be my number one.
Oh,
I just
really?
yes, it is it's a corker. It's one that will keep you awake.
Okay.
I don't get rattled by very many movies at all. I don't really,
Mhm.
but the Coffee Table had me. Yeah, I was looking over my shoulders. Uh,
Okay. That
that was
sounds cool.
a powerful, powerful movie.
Who
Uh,
produces it? Or who's putting it out?
it comes from Spain, and it
Okay.
got released. It got released this week by Cinephobia releasing, and it's just absolutely those Ray Murray runs the company, and he puts out absolute gems. He
Nice.
picks up gems, yeah. Um, are you a big boutique label guy? Do you collect like Arrow and Severin and Kino Lorber and stuff like that? Do you collect
I
those type
can't
of
say that.
movies?
No, I can't say that I do. So unfortunately, I really don't have a physical media collection. I pretty much depend on my dad's. My dad's been buying DVDs and Blu-rays since I can remember.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I don't have. Well, I do have some physical media, but I'm not a physical media collector at all.
Not yet, or just never.
Not yet. I can't say never because the way things are going with streaming, I think I might want to start leaning in that direction. But I also have this thing where like I can't afford another hobby. I have
Well,
too
you can
many
do it.
hobbies
You can
now.
do it. Take it from me, a budget balla.
Hmm.
That and that's when you go down to like thrift stores and you go down to Salvation Army and you go down to your local library and you look and you hunt. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, and I go down there every week and my library sells stuff for a quarter a piece. I can go down there and spend $4 or $5 and come out with like 8 or 9, 10, 12, 12, 12, 13 movies
Nice.
for a quarter a piece. Their deals are out there. But I'm with you though. Some of the movies are like I noticed this when I went on Amazon and eBay. I've noticed that the physical media prices for a lot of movies that maybe last year were like $5.
Hmm.
Now I look at them now they're like $10.
Okay.
The people are sensing that they're getting that sense like a lot of these movies they're being lost. A lot
Yep.
of people are just like they don't want them anymore, so if they can't sell them, a lot of times they're throwing them away. They're just tossing them out.
Right.
I mean, I saw that with CDs. Somebody I know, he went and he got a deal for a box of CDs,
Hmm.
200. And
What?
he went through, he picked out the ones that he wanted, like 10 or 15, 20 of them, and now he had 180 left. Okay, I'm gonna go down and donate them. I'm gonna go down and donate them. Wouldn't take them. I'm gonna go down and try to exchange them in for credit. Wouldn't take that for credit. There's
Wow.
nothing there. He ended up, what did he end up doing? Throw them away.
Yeah,
There's no one wanted them. But
that's a
just think
shame.
that's 180 movies or music that is now out of circulation. So you keep doing that enough times, and pretty soon, there was 50,000. Where's 500? People bought 500,000 CDs last year. Yeah,
Hmm.
but now, about 250,000 of them are gone. They're
Yeah,
no longer there. Every year, attrition comes by and knocks it off. It becomes harder and harder to collect the movies. Collect movies or music because every year they're not being replaced.
right. I've always
Uh,
had this idea for a movie where is essentially it's post-apocalyptic, it's at the end of the world, and it's hundreds of years in the future, and people's ideas of what the past was like is based off of movies, so much so that those DVDs, those Blu-rays are held in such high esteem that whoever has them has power because they have the stories of the old days. And all of that was kind of like caused by streaming and the apocalypse, obviously, and stuff like that. And I always thought that that would be a really cool movie idea. Like this one DVD, this one Blu-ray would have all the power because it's the stories of our old past. Uh,
right,
yeah,
right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they have the sort of same theme for the Book of Eli?
yeah. I think it was like the last Bible
Yeah,
to exist. Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say,
Hmm.
um, good,
And I would
good.
love the movie to be something silly like Ninja Turtles from 1990 or something like that. You base your entire
Maybe,
existence off of that.
if there was one movie, there's gonna be one movie on DVD that would tell the world or what it was. I definitely would hope it would be Garfield.
Yeah,
See, Zack Attack mentions also Challengers comes out Friday, and that's a sports drama. Dell
it
mentions
is.
Raging Bull is my all-time favorite sports movie. That's a banger of a movie. That's a great movie. But as much as I love Raging Bull, I'll take Cinderella Man over that any day, all day. Cinderella Man's that's my bomb.
I've
That's
seen
that's
Cinderella Man. I need to see Raging Bull.
all right. When you watch Cinderella Man, did you get tears in your eyes? Do you get emotional when you watch movies?
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
cry a
me
lot
too.
during movies. And as a matter of fact, since I hit my 30s, I cry a lot more than I used to, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
There's no problem for me to be emotional during the movie.
I was rooting for like hell for Paul Giamatti this year. For to
Yeah.
I was I was talking to this sounds really bad, but I'm just being honest. But I was talking to Greg Berkio. He was the actor who starred in Cinderella Man. He
Mhm.
played Max Baer, and I've talked to him for years. And we were both talking about the Oscars, and I'm going like, man, Paul's got to win this year. If the Oscar that he gets this year, it's got to be the one that he should have gotten for Cinderella Man.
Yeah.
He had totally agreed with that. Jamie says that Varsity Blues will be her favorite sports movie. Um, okay, that's awesome. At least she didn't say. At least she didn't say Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty. That was nice of her not to say that. Hey Eric, how are you, sir? Welcome to the channel, Kenny. Thank you so much for that, Eric. I appreciate that. That is neat. I hope. Yeah, this is your first time to my channel, isn't it?
Oh, welcome.
No, you. This is your first
Oh,
time you've been
me.
on my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's my first time on your channel. Yep.
Oh man, see, I must be. See, I'm dropping the ball. You haven't come over and watched any of my content. I'm bummed. I have to do a better job. Let's see. Jamie says that she cried during 21 grams because of the birth. Yep, I heard that was very very moving.
Yeah.
That's the one with Naomi Watts, I think. And then I think Will Smith did one called 3 Pounds about
7 pounds. Yeah,
£7.
7
Man,
pounds was a crier for sure.
that was a that's an underrated movie.
Yes.
Do you
It,
think
it
Will
got a
Smith? Do you
lot
think
of
Will Smith? Do you
like
think Will
heat,
Smith
a
was so
lot of
bad?
hate when it came out, and I never understood it. I never understood the hate for that movie.
I didn't either. I thought it was a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Do you think Will Smith? I mean, you think he'll come back and reclaim his spot as being one of the better actors, or do you think he damaged himself too bad?
I don't think he damaged himself too bad. I think that there has been like the situation wasn't good, for
No.
sure. But I think that there's been plenty of people who have done things way more heinous than Will Smith, who are
Yes.
doing quite well right now. And
Yes.
I like the I think the reason why it was so heavy on him is because it was out in public in front of everybody, in front of the event of the year in terms of movies. And everybody who loves and watches movies is watching this event. And then you have the people who are in attendance. And so all of that kind of played into it. And I can't say that he didn't deserve like some of the punishment that he received or the backlash that he received, because you can't slap people like you
No.
just can't do it, right? But at the same time, I've seen people do worse and come back from that. Slapping somebody is not a death. Slapping somebody is a death sentence. There's a there's a lot of people who really need to get a grip on like their own humanity, because if slapping someone is a death sentence and a reason for someone to be excommunicated from your life, like I think that we need to really reevaluate our own lives and how I mean, I can't say that I've slapped somebody, but and how like we deal with other human beings. So yeah, I don't see a reason for it to completely like it'll derail it for a few years as it has. But I think he should be able to make a comeback. I mean, I'm going to go see Bad Boys 4, and I'm extremely excited for it. So yeah,
Yeah, it should be that should be fun. I've enjoyed those. I've enjoyed those movies.
same. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, Will Smith is, he's generally as far as someone to see in a movie, he's definitely, he's always been one of my favorites.
Right.
I mean, and I did feel bad for him. I sort of feel like he got manipulated into that, you
Hmm.
know, and I don't think it was entirely his fault. It was like, and I just felt bad. But you're right. There's a lot of people that have done a lot worse that are still talked about and worked with. And
Yep.
it's like, wow, you're gonna work with that director or that writer, but you're gonna give Will Smith 10 years because he was slapping somebody who assaulted his wife.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
again, I just feel like something like that. I just think it has damaged the Academy. I think it damaged the Academy a lot more than it damaged him. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Uh,
The ban for 10 years to me is just excessive, I should say. It doesn't seem like the punishment fits the crime. I could see 3 years, I could see 5 years or whatever, but 10 years is a bit much. But yeah,
what do you think about what do you think about award shows? I mean, is this something that you look forward to every year as a film critic, a film tuber, or are you cynical like me and bypass all that shit because they didn't nominate the right people for the right awards because their studios didn't pay the money?
I'm I'm in the middle. I would say I definitely look forward to it for sure every year, because when the movies that deserve to win do win, I'm of course happy about it. The only times I'm disappointed is when here's what I don't like about award shows. What I don't like about award shows is them giving lifetime achievement awards for in place of people's efforts that were actually better, right? So, for example, I know people may disagree with this. I'm totally fine with that. There's three examples I can think of right now. Robert Downey Jr. is a phenomenal actor, right? And
Right.
Oppenheimer, to me, he sat and grimaced 90 to 100% of that movie. And I saw other performances during the course of the year that I thought were way better than his performance. I also feel the same way about Cillian Murphy. I think that both these performances are really good performances. When I think of some of the other performances during the course of the year, Paul Giamatti from The Holdovers being one of them, I just and unfortunately, I don't believe that A24 put up Zac Efron for the Iron Claw, but they should have because he was great. And also,
Yeah, it's almost like they went ahead and they pushed Bo's Afraid, and Bo's
yeah,
Afraid it's a shitty movie.
I agree with you.
And the Iron Claw was a sensational movie.
Yeah, and Iron Claw should have been nominated for if they play the cards right, should have been nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. Like it's a great movie that just wasn't nominated partially because A24 didn't put it up. So you have to put some of that blame on A24 for sure. But then you also have this is my personal opinion, but you also have Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron winning over Across the Spider Verse, which to me is a tragedy. Like the Boy and the Heron, to me, it's not a good movie. It's well animated. The voice cast is great, but the film itself is not great. As opposed to Spider Verse, which I thought was phenomenal from start to finish. So yeah, I thought that the animation in Spider Verse was amazing. So it gives you everything that you want in an animated feature, and I felt like they gave it to Miyazaki because it was supposedly Miyazaki's last film, and Miyazaki's been around forever. And a lot of the talk was like, "Hey, Miyazaki's never won one," which isn't true because he actually won one for Castle. I believe it's either no, he won one for either Spirited Away or Castle in the Sky, back in I think 2004. So there was a lot of talk. Oh, he's never won one. Unless they're going to give him one. He's won one. He's won one for best animated picture.
Doesn't that suck when you hear when you hear that term? When you hear that term, we're gonna give him one.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. If I put forth my effort and was the best, I should receive what I deserve for being the best. It doesn't make sense that Jamie Lee Curtis wins Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress when her co-star in the same movie, which was Everything Everywhere All at Once, Stephanie Sue, was a way more important and integral part of the movie. And essentially, she played a tax collector. And there's nothing wrong with playing a tax collector. Tax collectors can be great, but a tax collector role can be great. It's not the role or whatever.
And Jamie Lee
But
Curtis she did not deserve that Oscar at all.
she is in like she's one of the least important parts of that movie. And also Angela Bassett in Wakanda Forever. Her performance was leaps and bounds better than Jamie Lee Curtis's performance.
Yeah,
But the talk was Jamie Lee Curtis has never won one. She may not be able to get another one. And I'm just like, what
yeah,
if I'm Angela Bassett, if I'm Stephanie Sue, my response, what does that have to do with me?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what does that have to do with what I
see,
do?
that's what kills me when I see that about the Oscar about the awards show.
Mhm.
I just see that sort of shit, and it's like it's like she didn't deserve to be nominated at all.
Right.
And there's so many great performances out there. And no offense to you, because I know you love your Spider Verse. Quite
Hmm.
honestly, you can. Marvel's animation has always paled to me. It's always paled to DC. DC absolutely owns animation. It does. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Hmm.
Spider
I
Verse
think
is
that those are
great.
great animated movies.
Spider Verse is great,
Yeah.
but compared to Apocalypse War, it's just not in the
Yeah.
same. It's not in the same level. It's just
I think
not.
those I think those are great animated movies DC has put out because they've always put out great
Yeah, they
like
have.
animated movies.
They
But
don't
if
get
we're talking about the animation and the achievement of animation, we're definitely pointing towards Spider Verse instead of DC movies. Which the DC animation is great; it is phenomenal. But there's a different level that we're going with the Spider Verse movies. That's we have different opinions. That's totally fine. We are good with each other. But yeah.
Because I saw that, and I was thinking about the Avengers, like Avengers Endgame, and it was so
Mhm.
bloated. That Endgame was bloated, and then they came up with Apocalypse War, and I'm going like, that's what Avengers should have been. That right there, that's what if they had any sort of cojones, they would have did that. They would have really put that. They would have put the superhero game on its end, on its ear. That would have been, if they, because to me, man, I was blown away by Apocalypse War. I'm like, man,
Mhm.
this is some heavy shit. This is
Would you
this is
would
not
you
what
say
you.
that Endgame didn't
Oh
uh
god, that game was
do that?
bloated. And me and my buddy Catfish, we were talking about that movie as soon as we saw Infinity War. We were
Mhm.
coming out there. We already knew how it was going to end. We knew it was going to be Iron Man. We knew that was going to be him, and we knew he was going to be the one that killed Thanos. It was, so obvious. It's, there was no suspense there. Infinity War was good. I liked Infinity War, but I did not
Mhm.
like. I thought Endgame was bloated. It was too long to tell a story. The one ending, the ending fight should have been the longer, but it wasn't. There's so many problems with it.
Okay.
I'm not hating on it.
Mhm.
It is what it is,
Yeah.
but it ain't the end all. It isn't the fellowship. It isn't the fellowship of the king.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
an
you
interesting
know.
perspective for sure. That's a
Uh,
that's an interesting perspective.
Uh, Let me go back to real quick to the chat because I see some people talking. Let's see,
Mhm.
bad boy Jimmy says, "Oops, oh, bad boys four. Oops, forgive me. I'm hyping while she eats her dinner." All right. Hopefully it's hopefully there's cherry pie and coffee to go with that. Zach says that he won for Spirit Away. Marizaki, he
Yep.
won for Spirited Away. Hey internet, it's Eric here. Jimmy Lee Curtis didn't deserve the Oscar. She wasn't even the best person from her own movie nominated for the award. Yeah, see, that's what really burns me up when I watch award shows. That's why I can't take them seriously. Exactly
Mhm.
what Eric just said right there. He's right. He's dead on. See, Zack Attack says, um, DC used to own animation 10 years ago. I still think it still does. The animation is not theatrical in the DC films. Now I'll give you that because I do think that Warner Brothers should rethink that because Marvel has proven that the fact that if you do put out a good animated movie at the theater, which all their movies could have, they could have released every single one of their animated films out in the theater, and they probably should have. They really
Yeah.
probably should have and they would have gotten they would have garnered some praise. But the
Mhm.
fact that they get them for the home market when they should have, it's almost like they didn't have enough confidence in what they did, even though they had the best voice director in the business and directing those movies and making them great and Andrea Romano.
Mhm.
Um, the animation is not theatrical in the DC films. I think it could be. Uh,
I agree.
I do. I do. I think it could be. I think even some of the ones they could have released now, like Apocalypse War, that could have stood up to anything. It really could have. Um, you see, see, he wanted Endgame to scare the children. Yeah, yeah. If you watch Apocalypse War, you're getting scared as a kid. Yeah.
Mhm.
Endgame, Lord of the Rings trilogy. Oh, you thought Endgames against the Lord of the Rings? You liked Endgame better? Oh, oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Zach put out his review for Two Towers, and
Yeah, but
it's
that's every name me a middle movie from any franchise or any trilogy. Name me a middle movie that is always not going to be the praise because you're coming into it, you're leaving out of it. There's no there.
Dark Knight is one of the best movies like ever, and it's the middle movie.
It's but that's like extreme. That's extremely rare. I mean, I liked the Dark Knight too, but I had it on the same level as
Mhm. So
Batman Begins.
I was just about to say what Zach said. Some people would say Captain America: Winter Soldier is the best of the three.
Um, yeah, there's some entertainment there. That could be. But we can also say that Guardians of the Galaxy, the middle one, was not close.
Right.
That was horrendous. Uh,
Oh, I don't know about that. I actually liked Volume 2, but I would definitely say Volume 3 to me was better.
See, hi, hey, Hobbs, how are you? How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Captain, yep, there it is right there. Patrick is skipping me because he doesn't like my comment. I like your comment, Jamie, about the Steelers. About the Steelers, you mean? Okay, all right. What did you think of Skinner Morenik, Zach? I want to hear what Zach has to say about that
Yeah.
too. Zach's been throwing down some good comments here. So, but let me ask you guys:
That's
did
true, Zach. Sorry. About
what did you feel about Skinnamarink?
I didn't see it. I actually, yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it.
You didn't see it?
No, I know it's divisive amongst the community, but I didn't get a chance to see it. Zach
Zach
loved
says he Zach said he loves Skinnamarink. All is forgiven, Zach. All is forgiven.
it.
All is forgiven.
Yeah.
But watch your six. That's all I gotta say. Watch your six in the chat.
We have a I think my friend Dark Movies, he doesn't like Skinamarink at all. I think that's the one that he doesn't like. And but Zach loves it, which is the best thing about movies is that it's all subjective. Um he said I will hate Skinamarink.
No, no, don't. I have faith in Kenny. I have faith in Kenny that he's gonna. I don't know if he'll love it, but I know he'll definitely like it.
I'll check it out. You know what? I will check it out this weekend, if not earlier. I'll definitely check out Skinamarink just so we can have the conversation.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm missing comments. Let's see.
That's
If
true.
you two switch the top chat to live. Oh, I thought I did. Top chat. Let's see. Okay. Bam. Okay. There I go. I'll do that. Okay. Uh, Also, Spider-Man 2, great middle, probably best of the three. Yeah, that's yes, yeah, definitely. Spider-Man
Mhm.
2, definitely best of the three.
Yep.
We're not gonna talk about Spider-Man 3. Um,
No, we don't need to.
uh,
We can leave that alone.
but I will say that James Franco stole the movie. I enjoyed his performance in Spider-Man 3 greatly.
Yeah,
I definitely
there
say
are
that.
good parts to that movie, but then it does a lot of stuff that it just
Okay.
doesn't need to be discussed.
So this is what I mean about watching your six. Jamie just put in here. This is so cute because I have so much fun with this because when I watched this movie, and Jamie knows this because we talked about this. When I
Mhm.
watched Skinner Morenik, the only person I had in mind when I was watching it, I'm going like, I want to see what Jamie Hart has to think about. I want to see what she has to, how she's thinking about this because I thought the movie was very David Lynch like. So I'm going like, I really want to see what she has to say about it. So I was all amped up for it, and all of a sudden,
Mhm.
I hated it. It's terrible. It's like, I was shot down in flames. Let's see. Kenny's gonna text me with you, get me watching. Yes. Steven mentions two other sports movies, three other ones: Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, and Little Big League. All three of them are great movies. I love The Rookie as well, with Dennis Quaid. Extremely well done movie. So what are you looking forward to 2024? Any big summer movies that you're amped for?
So, Planet of the Apes is definitely like one of the tops on my list. I love the Planet of the Apes trilogy from the 2010s. I thought those movies were phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this new one as they travel, I believe, a couple hundred years in the future. So we're going from where we ended to Caesar's gone and all that stuff. So we're moving into the future and we're moving closer to what the original movies were in the 60s, with the apes being on top and the humans being kind of like slave labor and people who they're trying to like track down. So it's going to be interesting to see if they tie it all the way back, just kind of do a loop and see if they go back there. Deadpool for sure. I'm looking forward to. And what else? I'm sure there's a few other movies. I'm not gonna lie to you. So far this year has not nearly been as good as 2023. There's been some heavy hitters like Dune Part Two, which I loved, and Monkey Man as well. And Challengers is the second is number two on my top list of 2024. Um, so yeah, there's been a few movies that have been great, but so far, as far as blockbusters are concerned, there's not a lot. I think yeah, after Deadpool and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I'm not seeing a lot of blockbusters that I'm really looking forward to. The smaller independent movies, as they come up, I'm sure I'll be looking forward to those.
Are you a big fan of who's your what smaller studio do you follow? Do you follow any of the smaller studios?
Oh, A24 for sure. A24 is my go-to. A24 is, to me, if you're familiar with comic books, like there's an independent comic book company called Image, and essentially, like they are very different from Marvel and DC, in which they put out all their own individual stories that are not connected whatsoever. They just allow people to come in and cook and do their own individual thing, and that's what I love about A24. Even though A24 does like purchase stuff from like other studios who don't want it, and they give them the opportunity by putting those out. Like I still love the fact that they do that. So far this year, I've seen two A24 movies that I absolutely love, and one that I do not like at all. So, and that's just like kind of where you go with that. So, yeah,
Right. Uh, see, and Jamie saying, I knew she was going to do this to me. I knew. See, this is what I was saying. Watch your six. She says that she loves A24. This is really your first time to my channel. You could tell. You can definitely tell this is Kenny's first time. Because Kenny does not know. Kenny does not know. Where well, you guys can tell him in the chat. You guys all know what it's about. Neon is really up and comer, Zach. Neon has been putting out some pretty good movies. I've been paying attention to that.
yeah,
And Focus Features, I think that is Sony. If I'm not mistaken.
hmm,
I think that's also well. Bleecker Street has put out some quality films as of late.
yep,
Um, but of course, my jam is IFC,
yeah.
and yeah, they put out the best. Um, yeah,
I
so I
think
think
I've only seen one IFC movie, and I
what
didn't
which one?
enjoy it. But that is not indicative of the entire company. So I don't want to like say that. Say that. It was God. What was the name of it? Stop motion. Um, Stop
You know, like,
motion. I did not enjoy whatsoever.
I I highly recommend you go and watch The Nightingale.
Okay.
The actress in stop motion, she also starred in Nightingale.
Hmm.
That that'll save it for you.
Gotcha.
See, yeah, yeah, that's right, that's right. See, you hate Skinner Moranik. Jamie hates Skinner Moranik, and I hate Hereditary. So
Really? You hate Hereditary?
Hereditary is god awful.
Oh, really? Okay. That's the first time I heard someone say that they didn't like Hereditary. That's interesting.
I that movie was some that movie was some yeah. Um do you you know what though? I don't know. You know what? It'd be interesting to see what happens with that, Zach, as far as A24 going into the comic book world. There's plenty of room out there. I
Hmm.
personally, right now, I think of all the superhero movies out there right now. I tell you the one right now for me, because it's
Hmm.
absolutely insane, insanity bonkers, is fucking Invincible. Holy
Oh,
shit!
Invincible's great.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's fantastic! It's fantastic.
Yep.
I'm blown
Invincible's
away by
Image
it.
Comics actually.
Man, I love that. It's like Jesus Christ. This is because it's like this is comic books unfettered. Like
Yep.
uncensored. Like when you start thinking of the Avengers and they knock down somebody, you go like, wow, they're getting back up. Okay, well maybe you see them, over there. It's like Omni Man hits you, you're not getting up. You're down for the count. I
Right.
mean, you saw the first in the first season where he took out the Guardians of the Globe, and you're
Hmm.
thinking, boy, if that was Superman, that's exactly what would happen.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
I
exactly what
absolutely
would
love
happen.
Invincible. I've read the comic book. I've read all of it. It's from Image Comics, which is the comic company I was talking about. And the writer of Invincible is the same person who write The Walking Dead.
Right, Robert
He's
Kirkwood,
got,
right?
yeah, Robert Kirkman. He's got a great not roster, but not not filmography. Whatever you is it bibliography? I don't know. He has a great list of books that he's written under his purview, and I absolutely enjoy his stuff. But yeah, Invincible was great. The great thing about like Image Comics is that it doesn't just do superhero stuff. Like none of their stuff is connected, so you have it
Right,
essentially covers every genre of
right.
story. So they have horror. They have a bunch of horror comics.
It's
They're
the
great.
old EC comics from the 50s.
Mhm. I'm not familiar. I can't pretend to be familiar, but yeah,
Oh, okay. EC comic. Do you ever watch Tales from the Crypt?
yeah,
I think that's EC Comics. Just think
okay,
that's That's the guy. That's like the grandson of EC Comics. EC Comics almost got comics canceled.
Oh, really? For the
Yeah,
comics
back in the
code?
50s. Yeah, Congress was holding Senate. They hold Senate hearings on EC Comics.
Oh,
The
wow.
publisher William Gaines ended up getting out of EC Comics, and he founded another magazine that ran for like 30 years. I think it's still going on now, called Mad Magazine.
Oh, yeah, Mad. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think Mad probably still is going on. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. All right. And please, if you haven't subbed to sub to each other, by all means, please do that. Um, Well, it is hit our mark time. I want to thank our guest, Kenny, for coming out and hanging out with us. This absolutely flew by fast as
Yeah.
hell. I'm looking up here and going like, it's 2 hours already. Holy
Mhm.
crow! It just seems like we just started talking.
Yeah,
But so that only means one thing. That means we got to have you come back, and
absolutely.
definitely will.
I would
Um,
love to.
yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
a lot- this was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to reading more and watching more of your content. And it's absolutely outstanding. If you want to see Kenny's page, it's in the description box. You can sub to him there. You can also follow him on his Instagram page as well. If you haven't followed me, you can do that as well. Help me get to 1,400.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
Yes. Tomorrow night we are back. We got two more shows this week. Tomorrow night we'll be joined by special co-host Ant from the Friendly Men. He will be here with me, and we will be hosting the band Sex Dream. Will be here tomorrow night, featuring Maria Surfing Bird. And then Thursday we'll see our friend Spooky Kisses from Spooky Kisses Haunts. She will be here Thursday night at 8 o'clock as well, and we will be talking all things Halloween spooktacular. The spooktacular is not that far away. Um, so we'll be talking about Halloween and spooktacular and various haunts and cosplay and all that good
Nice.
stuff. And she's got her own TV series called Spooky Kisses Haunts, and they drive around and film different haunts and what makes them scary. Haunts are business. Haunts are big business now. It's almost like an extension of Hollywood. You have to be almost like a Hollywood level type actor to work a haunt. You have the costuming now, the effects are now, the makeup now, the wardrobe, all have to be top level. It's really more than just I got an empty building here. Let's put up some paper and scare people. Get some paper put a paper ghost on a wire and go back and forth. All right. No, those days are gone. Um and yes, so that she will be here Thursday, and of course this Sunday, we will be back for the ISC Midnight Show. That's right. You didn't know that. See, I do an ISC
Yeah,
Midnight.
I
See, see what you've been missing.
yeah.
And we will be watching on discussing Rust Creek on Sunday. So you can join me, Horror with Haas, Mary Wilson, and the Mighty Cadaver Club, Ben, and we tear it up on this Sunday night. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. Can you stay right where you're at for a minute? And Zach, I'm going to come looking for you, buddy. I'm going to be coming looking for you. I'm going to have you come onto the show.
That'd be great.
And yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm gonna get Pat Master on too. Gotta get Pap on here. All right. There is a Boneyard tonight. I think it comes on at 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10:20, 10:30 maybe. But the Boneyard will be taking place tonight with Mr. Bones and Echo Zero. All right. Thanks so much. Love you too, Jamie. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night, you guys.